Hello everybody, Maven here, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 build video. Today we are talking about the brand new GYRFALCON'S HAUBERK Exotic Hunter chest piece. This thing has no doubt brute forced its way to the very top of the exotic hunter food chain. It is absolutely putting Omnioculus to shame. It is insane no matter where in the game you use it. You can use it in low-end PvE, endgame PvE, you can use it in low-end Crucible, and even endgame Crucible like Trials of Osiris. No matter where you use it, it's going to put in the absolute work. And this build is also utilizing a very under-the-radar weapon that most people forgot existed. And this build is so interesting because it has 100% uptime of damage buffs. No matter what you do with this build, with this character, it is going to produce a damage buff for you. So this thing is one of the most effective ad clear builds I've ever seen in Destiny 2 history. Can't wait to show it to you. Let's get to it. And as usual, I like to show a little clip of gameplay first so you can get a feel for the build before we talk about it. So we'll do that. And if you are new here and you enjoy Destiny 2 PvE and PvP weapon testing and builds, then you've come to the right place because we do that a lot here. So consider subscribing and dropping a like. And with that, let's show some gameplay, then we'll break down the build. Hope you enjoy. So as you can see in low level content, this build shreds far too fast to comprehend. So later on in the video, I'm going to show some Legend Lost Sector gameplay so you can see how this build does in higher level content, and spoiler alert, it still shreds. So as aforementioned, the GYRFALCON'S HAUBERK is what this build is based around. It has an exotic perk called See Me, Feel Me. Your weapons gain a bonus to damage briefly after you emerge from being invisible. So basically go invisible and then simply just shoot. That's it, shoot. And the damage buff is 35% just for simply doing that. It is absolutely mad. And then also it has a bonus exotic perk attached to it that is very, very useful for end game content that has a ton of champions to finish. It says when you are invisible and you defeat a combatant with the finisher, you and your nearby allies gain a reserve overshield and improved class ability energy. To use this reserve overshield, all you have to do is deploy your class ability. So your warlock teammate, they just have to put down a rift. Your titan can just use their thruster ability or their barricade, and all you have to do is simply just dodge, and then you get an overshield. It is a very nice bonus for endgame content. Now, my GYRFALCONs personally is in Masterwork because this thing is going to be so meta that I'm going to farm for a better roll of this because I am not completely satisfied with the roll I got. It is definitely worth farming for a perfect roll of this. So this so-called under-the-radar weapon I mentioned earlier is the Wavesplitter. This thing is surprisingly strong in PvE, and also this season it just got a brand new ornament, which is awesome, so maybe that's foreshadowing that it might get a catalyst in the future. Come on, Bungie, this thing really needs a catalyst. All the other tracer rifles have a catalyst except this one. It has a harmonic laser perk, so it says that it oscillates between 3 different damage numbers. It has a low, middle, and high damage number, and it switches between them. However, if you activate this perk called Supercharged Battery, all you have to do is collect an orb of power, and it will always go to the highest oscillating number for as long as that supercharged battery stays up. And collecting additional orbs of power will extend the buff even further, so it doesn't like run out and you have to activate it again. You can just keep this 100% uptime as long as you're killing adds, because what we have on our helmet here is harmonic siphon. So if we get rapid void weapon kills, it is going to make an orb of power, and when we pick up that orb of power, we get that supercharged buff, which is a 25% damage buff. buff. And sustained fire in this mode also suppresses targets, which can somewhat, in a way, increase survivability, because then, you know, the enemies you shoot won't be able to spam abilities at you. So let's get this straight. So the GYRFALCON'S HAUBERK is giving you a 35% damage buff. The Wavesplitter, when you collect an orb, is giving you a 25% damage buff. And we are also making Void Wells with this build. And when you pick up a Void Well, we are triggering Vanta Might, giving us another 25% damage buff. So that, all in all, you would think is about an 85% damage buff. But these buffs, they don't stack. They multiply. So it ends up resulting in a 115% damage buff. And I can show you the damage numbers here. Without any buffs, we're hitting for 2035 damage. And then once we get all of these buffs in order, just by getting a double kill, and we make an orb, and then we go invisible, get a kill to trigger Reaping Well Maker and make a Void Well, we pick up the orb and the well, and we are now hitting for 4,380 damage, and that is a 115% damage buff. But it doesn't actually end there. That's just the start of it. We have more buffs to talk about. So let's take a look at our subclass here. We are using Trapper's Ambush. So we can go invisible from our Smoke Bomb, which gives us another outlet to getting that 35% damage buff from the Hauberk. But also the Smoke Bomb will weaken targets and give us that slam ability with our Smoke Bomb. So that when we go and we smoke slam on top of a major or a boss, it is going to give them a 15% debuff. And then when we shoot them and emerge from that invis, we're getting that 35% damage buff. So right away, we get that 50% damage advantage right there. So that is absolutely huge. And then it keeps on going because we are using Echo of Instability. So when we get Void Grenade kills, it is going to give volatile rounds to our Void weapons, which massively increases the DPS of it, as you've seen in the gameplay clips earlier. We just make everything explode, and those little Void explosions do a lot of extra damage. I don't even know how much extra damage that is, but I can tell you it's massive. Now, I am no math genius, but I can put 2 and 2 together and kind of guesstimate around 170% damage increase from the base Wavesplitter damage. Absolutely shreds through things harder than a heavy machine gun does, I swear to goodness. Now let's talk about the rest of the build. For our super of choice, we are using Mobius Quiver because damage. And then for the rest of our fragments here, we got Echo Starvation. Now this is a huge one that really puts this build over the top. Because we are collecting Orbs of Power to proc our Wavesplitter's damage perk, might as well also throw on Echo Starvation so that when we pick up that Orb of Power, we get Devour. And then also the Echo of Persistence is going to extend the duration of Devour and our invisibility and whatnot, and the overshield we're getting from our Hauberk. So absolutely helps build in every possible way. And Devour is what's really giving this build a ton of survivability. And we all know the key to a very strong PvE build is survivability, and Echo Starvation really does it all for you. Grenade of choice is going to be the Vortex Nade, and of course we're going to have to throw as many grenades as possible because we want to proc Echo of Instability as much as possible and give that volatile round buff to our Wavesplitter, because that's what really pushes it over the top. So we're going to need to have 100 discipline, and we're going to need to create a lot of elemental wells because elemental wells give you massive chunks of ability energy back. So first order of business is going to be bountiful wells, which say that elemental well mods that create elemental wells will now stack for each additional copy. And even if you have one copy, like on our chest here, we have Reaping Well Maker. Instead of just making one well after dodging and getting a kill, we will now make 2 elemental wells. And then we have 2 copies of elemental ordnance. So when we get a grenade kill, we are going to make 3 elemental wells, and then obviously that's going to be there to proc Vanta Might and give us all of our ability energy back. We want to keep dodging as much as possible as well, and that's going to proc Double Bomber on our class item to give us a chunk of grenade energy back. And also because of our Harmonic Siphon on our helmet giving us orbs when we get double kills with our Wavesplitter, when we pick up that orb, we're going to proc Double Invigoration on our boots, giving us some Smoke Bomb energy back. If you wanted to change to a Solar Affinity, you can have Innervation so that you can get grenade energy back, but it's nice to have some Smoke Bomb energy as well because that is what's proccing that 15% debuff on majors and helps you shred bosses. And on our gloves here, we have Bolstering Detonation so that we get class ability energy when we cause damage with our grenade, get our dodge back quicker, and we do have the slower dodge equipped. We are using Gambler's Dodge so that when we dodge near an enemy, we get our Smoke Bomb charge back and get to go debuff more things and go invis more, so that is a good little chain to have as well. And as for your primary and your heavy weapon, that is really up to you. It really doesn't matter, but obviously go with a void heavy because you want to be able to proc that Fontamite buff for it. Now, I think swords fit in very well because I'll show this clip here on screen. So if you just go and smoke bomb shatter dive onto an enemy, you are up in their face already. You're getting that 35% damage buff from the GYRFALCON'S HAUBERK and the 15% debuff from the smoke bomb slam. And since you're in their face, might as well use a sword. Now, I prefer using the other half because I like eager edge. I like zooming around maps. However, if you wanted to go for just pure damage, you can use the falling guillotine. It's got that vortex frame. If you got jagged edge on it, this thing hits like a truck. And especially if you give volatile rounds to your sword, in addition to that smoke bomb slam plus 50% damage there, absolutely shreds through anything. Now, just to emphasize just how effective the smoke bomb slam combo is with the GYRFALCON, we are going to shoot some rockets out of this royal entry. We got field prep cluster bombs with impact casing and major spec. And now let's go shoot Carl without any buffs at all. And it looks like it's taking about 4 rockets. That is a lot. That's pretty much half our reserves. And now when we go and smoke bomb slam on him first, it's pretty much taking only 2 rockets, which is a massive increase. That is very, very helpful to have when you're going in to kill a major or a boss. Now let's compare that damage to the Wavesplitter's damage against Carl. So put this into perspective. Would you rather use a 1/4 of your heavy ammo reserves to kill that major, or would you rather use 1 clip of special? This is how powerful the Wavesplitter is. And now for your kinetic primary weapon, it's actually not very often that you're going to be pulling it out because you're going to be maining the Wavesplitter almost 100% of the time, and the only time you pull out your primary is when you run out of ammo. So I am using the Peace Bond because it's got Subsistence and Demolitionist, and I want Demolitionist to give me some grenade energy back so I can proc volatile rounds more. But like I said, these 2 slots, your kinetic and your heavy, are definitely flex spots. If you need to have champion mods, you can put on whatever you want. The Wavesplitter is all that really matters. Anyways, that is going to do it for the build. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And again, if you have any ideas on how to improve upon this build, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. And like I said earlier, this build shreds through low-level content way too easily. So in a second here, we are going to show gameplay in a Legend Lost Sector. And once Grandmasters come out, I'm even going to be testing this build out in Grandmasters. I'm pretty sure it's going to do well because this is insane. But yeah, I can't wait to try that as well. And I will leave the dim loadout link in the description and in the pinned comment if you want to give this build a try. So for the rest of the video, I'm just going to show a bunch of the extra gameplay, but I'm just going to do my outro here. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button and leave a comment. Those 2 actions really help the algorithm and the video's performance. And if you are new, consider subscribing. And with that, I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.